Good evening.
Evening.
All right.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on today's virtual briefing. Will not take much of your time. We just want to sincerely apologize for the delay. Otherwise, we are ready to start and to get straight into the program. Before we can actually start the program, I will just request any volunteer from the audience to give us an opening prayer. Any volunteer to give us an opening prayer?
Shall we pray? Father, we want to thank you for your kindness. We want to thank you for your mercies. Lord, even as we begin this virtual briefing by the president of the institute, we pray that Almighty Father, you may guide our president. And we thank you for all those who have joined us for this very important meeting. Be with us throughout the meeting and guide us in our deliberations. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, Lord, we choose to pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Council Secretary, for that wonderful and powerful prayer. So, the rules of engagement, please, let's ensure that our microphones are off and you only switch on your microphone when you are given an opportunity to speak. That will be at a time when we'll be asking questions after the presentation by the president. So right now, I will call upon the registrar to give us an opening remarks. And then after the registrar, we will call upon the council secretary to call the president to give us his address. Then thereafter, we'll proceed to questions and answers. We only have 45 minutes for this particular program. So the questions that we may not be able to ask, or if you have any question, you can even post it in the chat site so that we can pick it up from there to allow as many questions as possible. When we reach to the questions time, please keep the questions brief and to the point. One question and to the point. I'll ask the registrar now to give us the opening remarks. Then Council Secretary to welcome the President.
Good evening, Mr. President, ZIPS Council members, President. May I simply say ZIPS members, President, and all protocol observed. I would like to welcome you to this evening's media brief. In fact, this is an internal media brief where the President speaks to the membership regarding certain developments within the Institute. And we are grateful that the President has made time, despite his busy schedule, to interact with the general membership. So without much further ado, I'm going to call upon the Council Secretary, Mr. Lennox Chilua, to make his remarks, and thereafter call upon the President. Mr. Secretary, sir.
Good evening, fellow members. Good evening, Mr. President, and all council members present in this meeting. I want to appreciate the members that have taken time to join. I think it's very important. I think under the member-centric theme that we are moving with for this executive, we want to keep all the members in loop of any developments that are happening at ZIPS. And then we want also to receive feedback from the members. So without further ado, I want to call upon the President for the Zambian Show Purchasing and Supply to address us. Mr. President, sir.
Thank you very much, Secretary. I really appreciate. council members present, registrar, fellow practitioners, senior members present. I would like to welcome you all to this briefing that we're having today, and I say good evening. I think allow me to thank you, members, for the, and I have Goriko on behalf of the council, your council, on behalf of EXCO, the members that you actually put, in, you gave the authority to take care of the mantle of the institute, that whatever is happening, whatever is being done to the best interest of you, the members, and for the growth of the institute. In my opening remarks, I would like to bring ourselves to the attention of the supply chain vulnerability. We remain to be very vulnerable at different points of execution of our assignments. It could be through the actual procurement process. It could be the administrative functions where we are operating, people that we report to. Sometimes people report to us, or stakeholders, both internal and external. The market we are still struggling with the gray market, where we are placing orders probably to buy certain items. We find at the end of the day that the quality is not much assured. And against that background, it is a sincere call that I would like to put across, that may we open our eyes wider to understand the impact of the black market, the white market, and the gray market, so that we choose ourselves nicely in a manner that we execute our procurement functions. And against this background, your institute, through Secretariat, is going to try by all means to ensure that research is conducted to look at what exactly are the points where these vulnerability are taking place, and we try to see how to seal such holes. In the same vein, colleagues, allow me to thank you very much for the harmony that you have introduced and the harmony that you have continued to exhibit, talking to one another, talking to each other, and as a council, as EXCO, as Secretariat, in all certain terms, we are very delighted that you continue to bring out, issues affecting your day-to-day operations, both at individual level and corporate level, and we remain resolute to ensuring that we provide feedback as and when you put your points forward. Doesn't matter that you can pick up a call, you call any one of us. Doesn't matter that you post on WhatsApp groups, because that's why these blogs were established. So it's not to receive good news anyway, but to receive bad news, because bad news is going to help us to shape ourselves squarely and attack matters that affect our profession. And I'd like you to continue creating stronger ties in relationships, because ZIPS still remains one institution, and still ZIPS remains a robust body where we all belong. And I continue to call upon each one of us to be each brother's keeper. And we appreciate your feedback. And I know that sometimes people could be upset in a way that they bring their, concerns. Our responsibility is to provide answers, mutually and the best interest of our members. We are not satisfied, please, you are called upon to make follow-ups until the right answer is given. I think these are some of the few points that I wanted to talk to in the opening remarks. And as I will come to members of the profession, allow me to say that I wish to welcome you to this first quarter briefing, being the second since we took office. And allow me also to share some of the highlights and updates on where we are currently as an institute and where we are going. We can only know where we are going if we know where we are coming from and if we know where we are. Against this background, allow me to bring forth a number of issues that have been handled, brought forward and tackled, some of them in completion, some of them work in progress, and some of them they are at the conceptual stage. Number one, appointment of chapters and committees. The council, which is your council, is dedicated to serving you, the members, effectively and efficiently, and has since embarked on the ambitious trajectory. To achieve this goal, several committees have been established. ZIPS provincial chapter chairpersons have already been selected. This is because these play a very pivotal role in the anchorage of decentralization of the operations of the institute. Furthermore, various committees chaired by council members, as you might be aware, ZIPS now has got a board charter. It's not operating, from a black book. It just got a blueprint that is following in order to execute its affairs. So it is indicated that all the committees of the board or all the committees of the council have to be chaired by a member of the council. This is in order to allow expediency in terms of receipt of feedback and also to ensure the well-spread standard of the reporting system, and also to grab authority that may sit, somewhere outside the jurisdiction of the council. These include the Marketing and Publicity Committee, Conference Organizing Committee, Members Welfare Committee, Finance and Audit Committee, ZIPS Women Affairs Committee, Disciplinary Committee, Technical Training Compliance and Standards Committee, Investment Committee, Audit Committee, and Risky Committee. So these are some of the committees. Ladies and gentlemen, during the period under review, ZIPS held a gala dinner and 2 workshops. ZIPS has consistently demonstrated commitment in honoring our members' contributions and advancing the procurement profession in Zambia. At a memorable gala dinner held in December 2023, we celebrated the accomplishment of distinguished members, presenting them with prestigious Life Membership Award alongside other accolades. Additionally, ZIPS orchestrated 2 highly successful procurement summits that were held in Savonga from 14th to 15th March and 11th to 12th April 2024, respectively. This impactful gathering served as a platform for the exchange of vital insights and strategies addressing critical challenges faced by both the procurement and stores department. From these summits, ladies and gentlemen, emerged the innovative procurement challenge matrix, which was a requirement that was reported to the government. A comprehensive document which outlined key challenges, proposing viable solutions. This invaluable resource document has been formally submitted to the highest echelons of government, including State House, through the Cabinet Office and also the presidential delivery unity, underscoring ZIPS' pivotal role in shaping procurement policies and practices in Zambia. Colleagues, ZIPS during the period under has in the past months undertaken various high-level calls such as visits to the Auditor General's Office, ZPP, Accountant General's Office, and other collaborative engagements such as meeting with various professional bodies to discuss and provide solutions to overcome common challenges. We had a very, very successful meeting with the other professional bodies in this country, and the presidents met together with their CEOs in order to arrive at the best way that problems affecting us, which are very commonly, are actually taken care of. Stores. Brothers and sisters, you may wish to note that stores has been a thorn in the flesh for some time now. Yeah. Allow me to report that during the recent meeting, which was held between ourselves and the Accountant General, a wide array of topics of mutual interest were thoroughly discussed, culminating in several resolutions. One notable decision that was established was to put up a technical working group, which is led by ZIPS, aimed at crafting a comprehensive document. This will pave way for the practical realization of stores as a standalone unit detached from finance. And I am delighted to share that with you, that this technical working group, under the leadership of fellow Michel Kaoma, is actively collaborating with other experts, including nominees from the Ministry of Finance, from the Policy Department, where we have agreed that stores moves from finance, but it shall not come to procurement, unfortunately. I don't know whether this is bad news or good news. So stores now, once harmonization has taken place, will actually be a standalone, meaning that the head of stores will now be reporting directly to the CEO. That is after the conclusion of this matter. So we just have to hope and trust that we are working together with the Ministry of Finance in ensuring that this particular matter is brought to rest. We are so grateful that the government has given us this opportunity, and we cannot say much about this matter apart from thanking the government that this is a direction that we are hoping to see. And indeed, we are in Canaan. Graduation ceremony. The institute successfully held its 6th graduation ceremony at Government Complex on 19th April 2024, which was graced by Honorable Minister of Education, Honorable Daga Shakalima, and the institute graduated a total number of 259 graduates. Colleagues, I would like to report that it was the first time that I witnessed. I remember when we were walking in, almost shedding tears because the hall was full to capacity. And it is my sincere trust and approach that I would like to give to you that when such important events are happening in your helm of jurisdiction, please, you need to attend. It's very, very important because this is a program that you yourself designed and you want to see and observe how it is growing. After all, when you come, you're able to see mistakes that are taking place. And like I indicated in my opening remarks, we are here to receive bad news from you, not good news, but you are there to receive good news from us, not bad news. So this is what I want to clarify, that our job, our ears, is to receive bad news so that we work on that bad news and convert in good news. Your job is to receive good news from us, not bad news. So I therefore, going forward, like to encourage you to attend such functions, whether invited or not invited. When you see it posted on the group, on our blogs, it means that these are blogs of our family and we are duly invited as such. Status of ZIPS Act. You may wish to understand that ZIPS had a number of lacunas and a trajectory started a long time ago, where we're looking at, coming up with a new ZIPS Act, and the new ZIPS Act preliminary approval from Cabinet, making a significant milestone in our legislative process. The next crucial step now involves conducting meeting with the Ministry of Justice and the Ministry of Finance, who in this case is sponsoring ministry, pending availability of funds. You may wish to note that this particular undertaking now will require to have a joint discussion to look at, the last points that now will see the act sitting at the floor of the House. So we are just trying to organize funds, and the moment the funds are available, you'll be updated accordingly. And from there, when the act goes to the floor of the House, it goes past the readings. At some point, at the committee stage, you will be required to submit your input into the act, if at all you didn't have this opportunity, because that's a time that you may look at what could be missing and what you desire to be in the act should be actually inserted. These meetings will serve as a further refine and finalize the proposed registration process. Status on compliance and inspection visits. During an extensive review period, the Institute diligently conducted rigorous compliance inspection targeting various institutions across multiple sectors, encompassing both public and private entities, which went to a total of 33. This meticulous inspection were executed with the aim of ensuring stringent adherence to the regulatory standards spread in the ZIPS Act, as well as upholding ethical business practices. Insights gleaned from these inspections unveiled instances where certain officers operated without valid practicing license, and in other words, unqualified personnel were found undertaking procurement and stores functions. This discovery prompted constructive engagement and dialogue with relevant companies to rectify the compliance deficiencies. The Institute remains steadfast in this commitment to continue the rollout of inspection, and I take this opportunity to caution institutions lacking qualified personnel to rectify their practices promptly. Our team is determined to leave no stone unturned in upholding the compliance standards in our industry. Brothers and sisters, I wish to report to you that in the budget that we have for this year 2024, it was proposed that we need to buy a vehicle which is specifically supposed to be dedicated to compliance activities, and finances have started being mobilized, and by God's grace, the moment we reach at a point where finance are going to be available, we need to buy at least minimum one Hilux, which will be branded as compliance and inspectorate, and this will ensure that it's able to take our colleagues who have been mandated with compliance activities to go across the country to ensuring that compliance activity takes place. Status on the conference organizing activities. The preparations for the forthcoming 12th National Conference have reached a very advanced stage and readiness, promising an exceptional and unforgettable experience of attendees. This conference will not only be highly informative, but also serves as a platform for networking, knowledge sharing, retreat, and rejuvenation. We urge all members to mark their calendars for June 4th to 7th, 2024, ensuring their presence at this significant event. Despite considering all members' submissions regarding dates, we face limitations as all dates from June to August were already booked at Avan, the sole venue that we have, which is capable of accommodating our desired attendees of at least 1,000 delegates in Livingston. Consequently, the decision was made to settle for June 4th to 7th in alignment with the resolutions passed during the annual AGM, annual general meeting. Be rest assured, brothers and sisters, we are committed to improving our planning processes going forward. We'd like to mention that it was very difficult to enjoy Livingston in the days or months when the Zambezi River is dry. Because the reason why we go to Livingstone is not because Livingstone is better placed than Lusaka. After all, if you come to Lusaka, Lusaka has got many options where we can go. But one of the reasons we go to Livingstone is to become local tourists. And you can only be proper local tourists if when we go there, we found that water is still available. This time around, our brothers and sisters who are in Livingstone can attest with me that water now, at least water levels have increased, and you can enjoy the good side of Livingstone. And more details definitely will be given on how this particular undertaking will be when the time for making the program comes in. Supply Chain Magazine. Colleagues, the quarterly magazine is in the process of being worked on and being released, and it will be issued in the first week of June. Therefore, all members of the Institute are being requested to submit and share your articles for consideration to feature in the Supply Chain Magazine. The magazine will be issued electronically with few hard copies to be distributed at the ZIPS conference and also be submitted to other travel agencies like airlines. A link to submit your articles for consideration will open today for their briefing. People are knowledgeable in our midst. And what we are trying to look forward is that we share such knowledge that we have. And we're going to do so better in writing. I remember at some point when I went for training, one of the facilitators indicated that the best way to make a coffin rich is to make sure that when you are burying a person, you bury a person. And then when we laughed, he said, oh yes, when you bury a person, you bury a person. And they're going to make a coffin rich because this person is going to go with this knowledge. So I said the best way is that you must bury a corpse because the remains of a human being. So what is supposed to happen is that because these are remains, the brains will remain in our brains. So make sure that the time comes when we shall bury some of the brothers and sisters who are knowledgeable. What we'll be burying must be corpse and not the bodies of our brothers and sisters, because their knowledge is required. So we are encouraged to share our experiences, those in the private sector, those in the public sector, those in the multilateral procurement systems, those who are in bilateral procurement systems in the NGOs, those who are, entrepreneurial. Let's make sure that we share, the knowledge that we have acquired over time. Media appearances. ZIPS Council and chapters will intensify with media appearances activities aimed at selling the Institute service and equally raising the publicity of the Institute. We therefore request all chapters and secretariats to identify, key resources to be part of this journey. What has happened in the past, colleagues, why you didn't see much of ZIPS engagement with the media, was that we had set out a number of low-hanging fruits. And the concentration, first of all, was to look at what we promised and what we think that members require is taken care of. And when we come to the media, it becomes very important to report to the people about what has happened, what you are doing, what you have done. And the life actually is a project. The day you are born, the project starts. The rest are milestones. The day you die, the project ends. And so in the same vein, we are trying to tackle the operations of the Institute through a milestone approach, where we cannot handle everything at the same time. But be rest assured that next week, if I'm not next week, maybe after next week, Secretary will confirm that we are going to have a press briefing where we are going to engage all the media houses in the country. And we have got now, our position already in place that now will start appearing on various platforms, including ZNBC's Sunday interview, and also Prime TV, and also Diamond TV. So all these things now are in place. We can just assure you that those of you brothers and sisters who are saying that, who are thinking that the visibility has gone down. We are now going to approach in this direction because most of the things that kept us busy are almost coming to a close. Postgraduate diploma. Brothers and sisters, you may agree with me that some of us, including me, because I joined the procurement after attaining other qualifications, actually are coming to join procurement. And the issue is that at what point do we join procurement? There are people that have got interest. For example, I'll give an example that when we were in Siavonga, we made a pronouncement that there are teachers who are conducting procurement. And we have stated it in certain terms that the teachers who are conducting procurement have to stop because they're not qualified for that job. And the only thing that you're supposed to do is let them enroll and become teachers. And I mean, become procurement people. And against this background, what the institute has done now is that it has come up with certain measures that should be able to increase the capacity of entries, those that wish to enter, and those that have finished, their programs were supposed to happen. So, as you are aware, ZIPS offers a certificate in procurement and supply chain management. It also offers a diploma in procurement and supply chain management. Now it has introduced, in principle, approved the introduction of the postgraduate in procurement and supply chain management. So this would mean that even those colleagues who are coming with other degrees, if they want to join, they may join at the postgraduate level. I am delighted to announce the commencement of the postgraduate diploma program in procurement and supply chain management, scheduled to start in January 2025. This program represents a distinctive opportunity for professionals aiming at elevate their careers and enhance their proficiency in the field of procurement and supply. I am particularly proud that this locally crafted program, enriched with pertinent content, will be launched under this leadership. We are committed to providing a robust educational experience that equips participants with knowledge and skills necessary to excel in the dynamic landscape of procurement and supply. Please join us as we embark on this exciting journey towards professional advancement of excellency. Introduction of licensure exams. You may wish to note that according to the Act, one cannot be registered as a member unless they fulfill the components or the insertions of the law. Section 8B of the ZIPS Act, number 15 of 2003, confers authority upon the ZIPS Council to institute examination in facilitating the registration of graduates or qualified individuals by the institute. What this means is that when a person finishes their program, before becoming a member of the institute, these people, everyone shall be subnations. This is not new. It's happening to other professions. And this is where we need to test, whether understand the contemporaries and also that of critical nature when it comes to procurement. I have to emphasize that this is a very serious undertaking that has been pending for the past 20 years that the Act has been in place. We are now going to ensure that this particular exercise starts. It will help us a lot. You must remember that the government actually is crying to look at how best can we contribute to the effective, operations of the institute, of the profession. And in so doing, we want to have a platform where we have got members who are actually coming in with robust knowledge and the ability to execute the assignments both in public and private sector areas. Presently, the registration procedure predominantly hinges on academic credentials, potentially overlooking the practical experience competencies and the capacity to apply theoretical understanding essential in procurement and supply chain management. To adhere to the dictates of the law, which is ZIPS Act, particularly concerning membership upgrades from affiliates to full member status. I am delighted to disclose that initiation of the membership certificate and upgrade licentiate examination is slated for January 2025. This examination is aimed to ensure a comprehensive evaluation aligning with the evolving demands and standards of profession, thus fortifying the Institute's commitment to fostering excellency and proficiency with the procurement and supply chain profession. Fellow professionals, introduction of examination and mentorship program for upgrades to full membership. This is to ensure the adherence to the ZIPS Act, section number 13, which has not been the case in the past or in the present. The commencement of the said program shall be communicated once the relevant modalities are put in place. What this then means is that when we want to upgrade from affiliate to go into full membership, like I explained earlier on, we are having challenges. And this time around now, what's going to happen is that we are going to have examinations that are going to be set for one to upgrade from affiliate to full membership, and also a person will be subjected to mentorship. Now, this is where now we are calling members of the Institute that we prepare ourselves, because our brothers and sisters who are the millennials who are joining us today, they need to remain with your experience, your expertise, your competence, and your capacity and your skills. So you're able to hold them on their hands, so that you move together and help them to be upgraded to full member. This is one of the credit calls that we receive from the government, that we need to sharpen our tools in terms of executing the assignments related to procurement and supply. And it's also a legal requirement according to Section 13 that one has to pass exams set by the council. In this regard, details of the fees will be communicated, but be rest assured that this is slated also for commencement in 2025, 1st January. Brothers and sisters, management of funeral. You may wish to note that currently what happens is that ZIPS has got a policy, and this policy is called benevolent policy, where when a member is demised, 10,000 kwacha is issued to the family. Like I indicated earlier on, that we receive news from you, members. We are so grateful. Some of you approached us personally, and others approached us through various media systems and various media platforms, where you are indicating whether the 10,000 kwacha is enough or not enough. But the question that comes into play is that where does this money come from? This money comes from the coffers and part of the budget that is to be put in place. And if you look at, sometimes it's very important to appreciate the fact that risk management has to come into play. That in an event, probably, God forbid, we may have a situation where we have got a number of challenges that may come along with our lives. And then at the end of the day, ZIPS may fail to raise such funds. So it is therefore the desire of the council to put this particular item on the agenda for the AGM to see that we may go into arrangement with an insurance company where we can go for funeral insurance, which is under life assurance, so much that the monies that we actually we should be able to receive once we lose a member is increased from 10,000 through insurance. Now, this has to be subject to AGM because it affects the affairs of you members. the council cannot make such a strong decision on you, and it has been adopted as one of the agenda items as you go to Livingstone. Now, what this means is that you members are able to make a decision as to whether this will extend to families, and if to families, is it to the children, is it to spouses, and how many. Proposition will be put in place, and the secretariat will be able to find out exactly, and also to invent the will to find out from other institutions that have been checking, and we should be able to share experiences as we come to Livingstone to look at this particular matter. But the subject matter on the table is the fact that this particular undertaking shall be brought to the AGM, and your members, even those of you who understand the issues to do with insurance, also can do your own search so that you can contribute to Livingstone when we table this matter in the AGM. On the same funeral arrangement, colleagues, on the 8th May 2023, the Institute, through the Office of the Registrar and CEO, issued guidance. Sorry, I read again. On the 1st May last year, 2023, the Institute, through the Office of the Registrar and CEO, issued guidance to the Zambia Institute to the Institute in order to establish a coordinated approach to handling bereavements within the ZIPS community. The directive stipulated that only deaths or funerals of members should be communicated through the official ZIPS platform, with such communications being coordinated. I'm trying to emphasize the word coordinated with the marketing and publicity committee and the respective chapters, because these members are coming from chapters under whose jurisdiction the funeral falls. The registrar guided that notices of deaths of relatives to members should not be communicated on the official ZIPS platforms when it comes to contributions in terms of resources. Further, the guidance was that any communication on non-official ZIPS platforms initiated by members for the purpose of mobilizing assistance should adhere to protocols where some members may not complain and others may complain. Colleagues, this matter will further be deliberated at the forthcoming annual general meeting, and it is there on the agenda as well, together with the Bereavement Fund. The aim is to conduct this initiative through an insurance policy, and this policy will be determined the beneficiaries. I would like to put a comment here that much as we appreciate and we regret losing our brothers and sisters, your institute is also receiving punches. That there are some members who have lost husbands, there are some members who have lost wives, there are some members who have lost parents, and these members have not received assistance in terms of how this matter is conducted. And now they are asking to say, why is it happening that other members have been attended to, other members have not been attended to? So that's why the registrar's letter or memo that was issued last year was to ensure that there is coordinated activities, because at the end of the day, we may find ourselves in apathy and other members will be complaining. You know, you will find a situation where probably the person, you know, somebody might be aware to say, I've lost a beloved one, and another one can lose a beloved one, and some people are not aware. So at the end of the day, we may find ourselves probably in positions of explaining. So this has come with attention. I'm sure for the past, I can safely say 3 months, we have been responding to these particular issues to some of the members who have been complaining that this is not conducted, you know, in a coordinated manner, and some others feel disadvantaged, others feel advantaged. But the best way to handle this particular matter is as a team on how this particular issue would be conducted, because it is affecting you members. And for us as a council, we may not have such powers to give directive, but it's something that could be conducted. So the way forward for contributions, the practice of soliciting funds contributions for non-members on ZIPS blocks has been temporarily suspended. For now, Should members wish to resume this practice, it will require discussion and resolution of the annual general meeting. This is to give due respect to you members, so that let you decide. If you wish to start, we can start after the AGM, because we need to respect your views. It has come to our attention that some of the members who have experienced the loss of spouses, children, parents, have expressed concerns themselves about not being attended to and not being recognized. And in this case, ZIPS has been looks to be biased. And against this background, the concerns will be duly considered and addressed at the AGM. And your input is hereby and cordially invited at AGM. Court cases. Colleagues, you may wish to note that ZIPS has had about 2-3 court cases, and court cases, except for one which is not actually, it has got some technicalities as to whether it is still a court case or just a discussion, but it's hereby, left at the hands of experts of the law. But I wish to state that and announce that the matter between ZIPS and Alliance Capacity Building Limited has been fully resolved and amicably resolved out of court, meaning that Alliance Capacity Building Limited has subsequently applied for readmission into membership. What this means now is that when the matter went to court, and there was a requirement because that the matter be sorted out of court. Sorting out matters out of court basically is one way of trying to redeem and also maintain the integrity of the institute. Because when the matter goes to court, the lawyers will argue. It depends which lawyer argues first and which lawyer argues best. So it can never be, no case is a good case, and no case is a bad case. But the outcome is at the discretion of the courts. So that's why the lawyers want to express our opinions. So the fear in any given situation is that when ZIPS is appearing in the courts of law and ZIPS loses a case, there are two issues that we are going to find ourselves with. Number one, it becomes a case law. We shall be referred to and shall appear in the jurisdiction of the courts. That according to ZIPS versus what, or what versus ZIPS, it was ruled against ZIPS. And that will remain as a point of reference, which will not be a nice thing for us to experience, in our future endeavors. Number two, loss of funds. Should ZIPS lose the case, some of the cases actually, because they consider the loss, they consider the damages, you may find a situation where the institute goes to pay beyond its nose. And whose money are we risking? We are risking members' money at the end of the day, and we fail to service you. So that's what was very imperative and important, that this particular matter was a risk to the institute, and it was therefore we called for the intervention through the court process, and the matter be settled out of court, and the matter has since been settled out of court. The question, therefore, is that all of us as members are hereby encouraged and advised to make sure that we follow what is laid down, in our respective documentations, policies, procedures, codes of conduct, codes of practice, disciplinary, to ensure that we follow such as members, so that we remain and we remain focused and loyal members of the institute. National procurement policy. As you'll be aware, colleagues, Zambia currently lacks a national procurement policy, which presents significant challenges in effective management of procurement professionals, implementation of the Public Procurement Act, and overseeing private sector procurement systems and stores management. In light of the above, ZIPS has initiated a program aimed at advocating for the establishment of a comprehensive national procurement policy. Such a policy would provide essential guidance and frameworks for the management of procurement professionals, ensuring adherence to the Public Procurement Act, and enable effective monitoring of the public and private sector procurement practices, including stores management. What this document entails is that when we are doing our respective strategic plans, for example, we do make reference to the National Development Plan. And then when we finish doing that, the strategic plan will speak to formation of the procurement policies. Now, each institution does come up with their own procurement policy, but the policy must get powers from the policy. So now, if you have got company A or department A or ministry A with a procurement policy, the challenge that we have is that there is no standard that's there. Now, what are the problems that we are facing in this case? As a country, we find it very difficult to manage ourselves as procurement professionals. As you might be aware, ZIPS is a regulatory institution which operates outside the realm of government system. And then this particular policy actually does not exist at the national level, meaning that the elements of managing you who are doing procurement, managing the processes of procurement, managing the systems of procurement, managing the people of procurement in procurement, and managing stores in procurement, both public and private sector, is left unattended to because of the absence of the procurement policy at national level. And therefore, it becomes very, very important in ensuring that this particular document is put in place. And the moment this document is put in place, we will be able to come back to you and report on the matters that actually have gone with the establishment of this particular policy. Fellow professionals, I think we have exhausted what we had to share with you. What's remaining now is looking forward to working extra hard to implementing what you have lined up. And we call upon your indulgence. We call upon your participation. We call upon your commitment to continue being senior patrons of the Institute. And at this moment, I would like to thank you very much for this particular time and for your time. And I would say God bless you. I thank you.
Thank you so much,
Mr.
President, for that elaborate presentation and also update. Dear professionals, we are going now into the segment of questions and answers. So you can raise your hand, then we will be able to give you the chance to ask questions, or you can post the questions in our chat side so that we take them. So we'll be taking, I think, 3 questions per go. If we will be taking 3 questions per session. So please, you are free to ask questions. I can see Pasmo Mwelwa Mwika. You can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask a question.
Are we allowed to ask questions which are not maybe pertaining to the presentation, or we are restricted to ask questions concerning the addressed issues?
I would encourage that we ask questions that are related to the presentation. However, with the guidance of maybe the president or the council secretary, we may take at least something that is in line with what is actually going to help every one of us. I don't know. I seek the indulgence of the council secretary as well as the president.
Good evening, members. Thank you so much, Mr. Mumbi. Mr. Mumbi is our vice chairperson for the Marketing and Publicity Committee. I think when we followed what the president was saying, it would be very much appropriate for us to speak to the points that the president spoke to. I think he raised about 17 points that he spoke to, if we were following. So we would encourage members to quickly just speak to each of those points. However, maybe before the Vice Chairperson for Marketing and Publicity continues to moderate, let me just read a few chats from the message chats. We have a message from Ntambulansi, who is just congratulating the ZIPS Council and the Secretariat for the work done so far. We appreciate Mr. Ntambu for that. There is also a message from Masi Zulu, who is just appreciating the good development for what has been reported over the stores having its own reporting channel. This is underway. Thank you, Mr. Zulu, for that. We also have a comment from Stenisi Angandu, who was talking about that the inspection has taken long because after there are no results for alternatives. I think Mr. Siangandu, the president, alluded to the very fact that there were reasons as to why we've not gone flat out. And once the equipment have been put in place to ensure that intensive inspection is conducted, I'm sure Secretariat is going to ensure that inspection is intensively done. The last chat in the message before we can hand over to members to bring out their comments, we have also a comment from Muchanga Mianda, who has expressed concern that the timing for the conference is not encouraging, as most universities have exams in the first and second week of June. Mianda, we take note of your concern, and I'm sure if you followed when the president was speaking to this point, he began by submitting an apology to the members, but he, as a president, was tied because this is something that was agreed upon in the AGM that we had in our last meeting in Livingstone. And so the president could not untie this, but only to apologize. But I think going forward, even in the meeting the conference that we'll have in June, the president encouraged members to bring on board what suggestions would be. So we could not overemphasize. I think the president has apologized, and we hope that Muchanga, you have taken note, and we hope that the council has been forgiven. But this take note was agreed upon in the last AGM that we had.